Hey guys, and welcome back to Hummingbird Acres. Ignore the sweat and the bugs. It is so hot out here today and there's like barely any breeze. But the tomatoes need some dire attention. They needed to be trellised probably over a week ago and pruned, and we just haven't gotten there yet. So I'm gonna tackle this. The way we do this is we have 2 U-posts. This is a 10-foot bed. So 2 U-posts, and I'm gonna do a cattle panel. And then we will trellis it all to the cattle panel. So I'm gonna get started on that, and then I will show you guys, once it's all done, how we actually did it. So that is how we put up a trellis. This time this was 2 pieces, a cattle panel that we have, and they were put together. So that's what I used this time. This is a lot easier when you have 2 people, but Jamie and I are really trying to divide and conquer to get as much done as possible because there's so much that needs to be done to get this place in like a maintenance mode. So you can see I just used zip ties through the channels to get it up there. A couple of things: if you pry these open prior to putting it up, it gives a ledge for them to sit on, which is always very helpful. And yeah, so I will probably come out this evening when it gets cooler. I will trellis these all up when it's cooler and then give them a great big drink of water. But there is our tomato trellis. I'm going to show you guys how I am pruning these. So right here, you see we have the main branch off of the tomato, and then we have this one that shoots out of the hip. This is called a sucker. And because we are still kind of young, I'm going to cut all of these suckers off, right like that, forcing the plant to grow taller and build more of its roots. That also makes it so that the bottom is not so polluted, and it cuts down on disease. So as you can see over here, I have pruned these up pretty high. I don't want really any leaves touching the ground, allowing contamination or disease with watering. So I've pruned these all pretty high, and then I've tied them all to our cattle panel trellis. There are a few that are just not quite, this one for example, are just not quite tall enough to tie up. So what I will do is I will come out probably in like over the weekend. It probably should be tall enough, and I'll tie that up. And there's another one down on the end that also was not tall enough to tie. So I will take care of that later. But as you can see, I have these all cleaned up, and we should start seeing a lot of upward growth here soon, which will be awesome because then this trellis will be full of tomatoes in no time. And I do have to show you, we do have our first tomato right there. You guys see it? I found that while I was pruning, so super excited. We have our first tomato. Hopefully the weather stays kind of cool so that tomato will keep growing, and maybe we'll get some rain, which will be awesome. But here is how we trellis and tie up our tomatoes. Stay tuned for how this turns out. We've done this before. I know we're going to have success with it, but every garden year is different and we always learn something. So be sure to follow, subscribe, and come back and check on these tomatoes.